Yo, what is good, YouTube? And welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, I want to talk about Mike Wang's tweets from today, and a couple of them in particular that are really interesting and I think really good signs for 2K26. There are some, I feel like the gameplay reveals and news from today is pretty hit or miss as of right now in terms of what we like and what we don't like, but I will say there is some stuff here that I do like. One tweet in particular about shooting and no RNG in shooting is really interesting. There's going to be some interesting, fun things. We will see what happens, that's for sure. So before we hop into it, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 50,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, multiple videos a day. Would really appreciate it if you all do subscribe. I'll start at the top and work my way down because the first tweet that Beluba put out was the tweet that I think is the most interesting to discuss. But we'll start with all the just going over all the tweets that he has answered so far quickly. Is there still high and low risk reward? There is not. Shot and layup timing risk rewards have been removed entirely. They tried it for 1 year and it's gone. I think that's a good decision by 2K. I do think it was, I don't know, I think it was something that I understand why they tried it, but I do think it was generally disliked by the majority of players, and I think it's smart that they removed it. It will be like previous years. That's the way every single 2K was before 2K25. So everybody will be in the same shooting again, which is good. I think that's a positive. Adrenaline. Are there any changes to how adrenaline bars work? Adrenaline will function very close to what you're used to from maybe a 2K25. Well, there are some minor tweaks. For example, if you spam too many escape moves in a short amount of time, it will drain a bar. So basically, it's gonna standstill dribble moves are gonna drain adrenaline now, which actually nerfs dribbling a little bit, which is a little bit disappointing, I think. I think if you're losing adrenaline when standstill dribbling, that nerfs the shot creation ability even more, and it's already been limited the last couple of years. That to me is not a positive change. I'm hoping that this is offset by improvements to the ability to actually get open, especially when I'm talking about my team, to be able to get open against a CPU effectively and have dribble moves that allow you to be creative offensively. If nerfs like this are not offset by improvements in other areas of dribbling, that's not a good thing, I will say. Next up, are there any changes to the contest system? There have been a number of changes to the contest system logic. We've rebalanced the effectiveness of hands up, no jump contests, and jumping contests to better reflect how shots are impacted in real life. We're also showing coverage percentages in full shot feedback. Again, I'm fine with the coverage percentages. That's cool, I guess. I don't know if it matters that much. This doesn't answer the question, to be totally honest. They've changed stuff. That was his answer. His answer was, we've changed stuff. That doesn't mean anything, to be totally honest. So I'm just saying. Are there different shot meter options? Yes, there's a bunch of different shot meters from 2K24, 2K25, and a new default meter, which I saw in the courtside report video. It did look, the normal meter looked fine. Now that being said, I personally won't be playing with the meter on if there's a benefit to playing with no meter, which there always has been. But yeah, that is what the next question and answer that he did say. So the green window is pure. Okay, so we're gonna talk about shooting now, because this is the biggest thing I think. Okay, one more, and then we'll talk about shooting, actually. The next thing is, are there instant greens in NBA 2K26? He says, this year we made the jump shot, sellies, and shot feedback dynamic based on the quality of shot. Celebrations and shot feedback are different based on the quality of shot. It factors in ratings, coverage, and timing. So it has to be a green on a wide open, and it has to be a good shooter. If it's not all three of those things, you will not get an instant green. This is interesting. Simple and all shots feedback show up at the same time. So simple and all shots are not different like they were this last year, basically. Last year, simple feedback was, it showed you if it greened or not immediately, but it didn't show you contests and it didn't show your opponent's shots. All shots feedback showed up after the shot, but it gave you more information. Which I generally liked more, getting a little bit more information on the shooting. So I think all shots will be the one that I'd recommend using next year for shot feedback. I'll say that. Now we move on to the main topic of this video, which is the main question that I think a lot of people had with this new, what looks to be a pure green window. Will there still be RNG in shooting? And the answer is no. There will be no RNG shooting. There has always been RNG in every past version of 2K. And NBA 2K26 will be the first version to feature a completely pure green window, which means the green window will be the same every single time, no matter what. And you're not going to make whites at all unless you're on pro or lower, which all the online modes will be on higher difficulties than that. That being said, the question is, how big is the green window going to be? Because I will play devil's advocate. I know a lot of people are very excited about this, and I think really logically so. I am also excited about this. This might be something that takes a little bit of tweaking to get right. I don't know how good the quality of playtesting they're getting is. I hope it's solid, because if there's too big of a green window, this could really mess with the shooting a bit. The contest system matters a lot this year as well. The contest system is going to need to be a quality contest system, because you need to be able to consistently contest shots and get stops from making quality contests. And if you're not getting a quality contest, you should be able to green that shot every single time. It should make shooting skill-based. If you get open and shoot a good shot and you time it well, you should green it every time. No questions asked. If you are contested, probably shouldn't green it most of the time. I don't mind the occasional contested shot going in on a perfect shot if the green window is like tiny, but it has to be really small on contested shots, and it has to be balanced properly so that people aren't, because again, you don't want people shooting 95% from three unless they're getting open every possession. If you get open every possession, you should shoot 100% from three if you input it properly, if your timing is right. I will say that they should not be limiting people from having good shooting ability if they're getting open. If you're not getting open, you should be punished for that. And this will hopefully allow for that. I'm really interested to see what the pure green looks like. Will you be able to green literally any shot that is like a jump shot? I don't know. Will there be some shots that don't have a green window at all? I don't know, but it does say pure green window. So certain shots you should be able to green every single time, which will make you wide open shooting. It's on you. Green your shots, which I think is a good thing. How big will the green window be? We'll see. I hope it's relatively small, especially like on Hall of Fame. On online versus, I don't mind it being decently big. I don't think it needs to be absolutely gigantic. We don't want to probably coddle people, but I do think it should be decently big on online versus. Now, I'm hoping that King of the Court is on Hall of Fame. I don't expect it to be. Generally, 2K's competitive modes in the past have not been on Hall of Fame, and they haven't said anything to make it sound as though King of the Court will be on Hall of Fame this year. It was on online versus, obviously, in 2K25. So I do think there's a really good chance that'll be on online versus, which I don't think is ideal, but it kind of is what it is. The cream still generally rises to the top regardless of difficulty when it comes to competitive My Team. So with that being said, I think this is overall a positive change. This is something that I think is definitely exciting. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. And there was a comment that he left here as well that I do want to talk about, where he talks about the green window being pure back in 2K23 when they said that there was a pure green window versus now when there's apparently actually a pure green window. So the center of the green windows in 2K19 and 2K24 were pure, but they used RNG in the edges that lerped from 100 to 0. So basically in 2K, if you were on the edges of the green window, you would either potentially green or potentially not. If you were in the center of the green window, you greened it every single time. This year, the green window, I assume, will be small, but if you hit it, it's green every single time. It's kind of my thought process. And I do think that's an important distinction to make. And I don't think that sounds to me like a bad thing. I'm really interested to see how it works. And this is one of those things that I actually do think if executed poorly could be a problem, but I don't think it will be. I do think I have enough faith in 2K to make this pretty well done, and we will see. I'm sure people will be, one of two things will happen in the first week of the game. People will either complain, oh, the shooting is way too hard, or people will complain, oh, the shooting is way too easy. One of those two things is absolutely going to happen. I just hope that they find a happy medium, because that's one of those things that if they do it well could really make the game more enjoyable, honestly, you know what I mean, and more rewarding. And it does seem like they are intending to try to shift more towards a skill-based meta. They keep talking about skill-based, and some of these changes do look like they are improving that skill-based aspect. I mean, even I just think the game speed, a faster game speed produces, you have to make decisions quicker, so it adds more of a mental aspect to the game in terms of recognizing and making decisions offensively and defensively properly, but it also makes the physical side more difficult because you have to input things more precisely and quicker. It is not easy, and it's not supposed to be easy, and a faster game speed, I think, does generally make that a little bit harder, which automatically creates more of a skill gap, which is at the end of the day what I, as a competitive or somebody who is participating in the competitive community, would want to see. Somebody who wants to be competitive wants the game to be rewarding. You know what I mean? You want to improve at the game and be rewarded for doing so. And so I am excited to see what 2K26 looks like. I do think it still very likely will have a lot of flaws in terms of content, 100%, but the gameplay sounds at least somewhat encouraging. There's a lot of mumbo jumbo. The rebound timing stuff, I understand people are mad about. I don't think the rebound timing stuff really is that big of a deal, to be honest. I think rebound timing has already been in the game. I think this is just going to be visual feedback for it, because unless it's a complete animation rework and if you green the rebound you automatically get the rebound, like that's really stupid. I don't think that's how it's going to be though, because then what if both people green the rebound? Who gets it? Yeah, I don't think that's how it works. I don't think graining the timing is going to get you the rebound. I think it just gets you a better jump animation. You jump at the right time. You know what I mean? You're already trying to time the rebound when you play the game right now. You're trying to jump at the right time to catch the ball as high as you possibly can. You know what I mean? There is some skill to it right now. So I don't think that's going to be a huge change. Like some of the stuff that people are mad about, I don't think is actually that huge of a deal, to be totally honest. Now, with that being said, a lot of it is kind of mumbo jumbo at this point. To be totally honest, I think that is a very real thing, is that there is a lot of mumbo jumbo this year for the gameplay, where it's a lot of stuff that's like, does this really matter? What does this mean? Yes, but overall things look encouraging so far. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it's not a huge letdown. We'll see. I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I will be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.